All right. Hello, this is just an introduction to concepts in document design. This screencast presentation in Microsoft PowerPoint will explain the 5 design concepts for an effective document. These concepts can be applied to essentially any document being designed, anything from business cards to large-scale posters. In this presentation, there will be some quick points to go over for each design concept, along with good and bad examples of the concept. Some concepts will not necessarily have a bad example, but I'll explain it. So the first concept is balance, principle in design that refers to the weight of the visual elements. Good balance of these elements provides a strong, stable, and comforting visual structure. Bad balance can make the reader uncomfortable and produce a weak visual structure. Balance can be achieved by symmetry, asymmetry, radial symmetry, shapes, colors, textures, etc. Sometimes balance can be used to the advantage. Creating an unbalanced and uncomfortable design may be the intent of some artists. Balance helps the reader's eye flow through a document and can help to highlight certain areas of that document. So here are some examples of balance. On the left is a panel from Jan van Eyck's Ghent altarpiece, completed in 1432. There is equal distribution of weight here and content in this piece. It's almost symmetrical right down the middle. On the right is an example of a painting with a heavy balance on the left side. There's a focus on the leaning tree with all the animals weighing it down. The toucan on the right side is hardly able to rebalance this tree. Alignment. The arrangement of lines or images and their relative positions to each other. Contrasting alignments can make a design more interesting and readable, or messy and weak. Alignment can be a really important tool in design. One different pattern, word, shape, color, etc. can create a focal point for a document. It helps to organize and neaten up the design of a document. It can create a sense of uniformity. A lack of alignment can cause confusion or appear messy and unorganized. So here are some examples. In the example on the left, a painting by Rosemary Noor, sorry if I murdered that name, the trees are all in alignment as well as the shadows being cast by the light. It gives the painting a sense of order and direction. On the right side, we have Sonia Delaunay's Electric Prisms from 1913. It's an abstract painting that does not appear to have any alignment. It looks disorderly and does not lend a good place for the eye to follow or rest. Grouping. Grouping visual elements or text helps to create relationships or distinctions on the document. There are many ways to group. You can group by color, shape, proximity to other shapes, or spacing. Grouping similar items together helps the brain to recognize information. This makes it a lot easier to find and distinguish similar information. Grouping really helps to create relationships between design elements, text, or images. Naturally, humans tend to put things into categories for organization, like goes with like, etc. So examples of grouping. On the left of this is the group of figures in the tribute money by Anastasio in 1425. We have Jesus and his 12 apostles are grouped into the center of the painting, providing the focus. On the right, there is a business card that actually lacks a focus. The information you can see is all spread out and not in one centrally grouped location. Consistency. Uniform layout throughout the document. Design sections are the same as other sections. It's helpful in guiding the reader through the layout of the document. Breaks in consistency, change in fonts, sizes, random, unused, or uneven spaces, changes in the bulleted lists from bullets to numbers can cause real difficulty for the reader and make a document problematic to read. Consistency really helps to create uniformity, just like alignment. A consistent document improves readability for users. Fancy fonts, colors, and images are great for document design, but too many of these elements can really cause chaos. So examples of consistency. On the left is a painting we see slices of pie. Although there are different types of pies, there are lines of them kind of the same kind leading into the background. There's consistency there and in the colors used in this painting. In Durer's Melancholia 1, the engraving from 1514 on the right, there are design elements everywhere. There is no clear focus in the engraving. The shapes and content are all inconsistent. So lastly, we have contrast, a principle that deals with details being strikingly different from each other, creating a distinction between objects for visual appeal. Details can include brightness, color, placement, font, layout, etc. Use of negative and positive space is an example of contrast. So contrast, the final design concept, is probably one you have heard, especially if you take pictures or photographs. Contrast helps provide distinctions between bodies of text or elements in an image. So for examples, we have Vincent van Gogh's The Night Cafe from 1888. This is an example of high contrast. The bright, distinct use of color here is quite depressing and unappealing, but this feeling of emotion was actually a conscious decision by Van Gogh to use in this painting. And on the right, we have Impression Sunrise by Claude Monet in 1872. This is an example of low contrast. There's not a huge differentiation in color here. Monet used many different shades of blues and oranges. The biggest contrast here is between the sun and the boat. So in conclusion, those are the 5 design concepts for effective document design. If used properly or improperly in some cases, all these concepts work together to produce successful documents. Thanks for watching.